Take care of your weapons, that's what my father always told me. But you don't even use weapons.
On their quest to acquire a ship to the eastern continent, the Shining Force passed through Bustoke, a city built into a cliffside. While there, they were dragged into once more purging a townspeople of Rune forces, which had enslaved all the men into excavating an ancient weapon. The Shining Force defeated the Rune army, and by behest of a local alchemist also acquired a moonstone to concoct lunar dew to heal a local wolfman named Zillow of his insanity. Their business in Bustoke now complete, the Shining Force proceeds northward towards the city of Pau, their next destination on the road to Uranbatol. The adventure continues.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to PlayView. The name's gurvmlk and I'll be your host as we dive back into the world of Shining Force, the Legacy of Great Intention for the Sega Genesis. We've got to head up north to the bridge so we can reach Pau from Bustoke. I rearranged my party a little bit. I dropped some of my centaurs and mages in favor of characters who can move a bit more efficiently in this rough terrain. Couldn't set it up perfectly, but I put Gort and Luke back in because they're a bit less inhibited by forests and hills. I dropped May, Ken, and Henri so I could also add Xylo in addition to those two, because Xylo also has solid movement in rough terrain. So I should be a little bit less impeded. I kept Henri and Arthur of those characters I was considering using because their levels are currently the lowest. So naturally they need the experience points the most. So hopefully this goes well. Let's get Luke over here. Less land effect, but a better position. That guy could have just shot like 4 or 5 different people and didn't, just because he had to get to a specific spot on the map. Good game. Very good AI. Oh, the skeleton is eating an herb and healing him. How does a skeleton get healed from an herb? If it's an herb that he eats, how does he eat it? And if it's like a salve that you put over a wound, how does he have wounds that it would be capable of restoring? If it's also something that would be efficient on, say, living flesh. When I was a kid, that sprite, when I was a kid, I thought that that the shoulder pads were the wizard's hands. And they're just standing in this really awkward position with like their arms tucked against their chest, their elbows touching, and just bent upward. In just this really awkward way. And holding their staff like between their fingers. I don't know why I thought that. But as a kid on an old CRT TV, that's just what it looked like to me, so that was kind of my interpretation of it. Xylo's a really good character. He's a character that I've pretty much used every single time I've ever played through the game. He's a solid fighter, gets lots of stats in pretty much every regard. He can take hits, he can dish out damage, he's not very affected by rough terrain, so he's good in pretty much any situation as far as battlefields go. Just a really solid unit, capable of a lot of things, and you also don't have to worry about spending money keeping him equipped with newer and better weapons. So he's pretty much always in my party. And it's going to be weird removing him to keep up with kind of the theme I'm going for with this playthrough of trying to kind of use everybody, keep things mixed up a bit. But we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna go for this skeleton. Hopefully I don't regret that, but I wanted to kind of get one that's further away that less people can actively reach to follow up with an attack. That's a smart elf. I feel like elves are commonly praised in various forms of fantasy media for their intelligence and wisdom. Yeah, that guy just sits there like, oh no, I'm under attack. Guess I'll just continue being under attack. The epitome of elves or whatever. Hopefully Luke can finish off this skeleton, but the trees are making it tough. They already have high defense, and this terrain is just exemplifying that. Especially for weaker characters like the archers, they really can't do much at all in this situation. But they'll still be useful later on because there are some flying enemies that their uninhibited accuracy will hopefully prove useful against. And of course I kept Ammon and Balbaroi because of the terrain as well. The terrain is what heavily dictated a lot of my setup with this battle, and that's gonna be the case in a lot of fights. A lot of times, I'm just checking to double check, make sure nobody needs healing. I don't think so, but just being sure since it's Lo's turn. Well, Balbaroi gained a level, so if I can get a heal off there just to kind of gain the experience points. Get Arthur in there for another hit. Hopefully I don't regret it and he gets pounded. He gained a level up though, so that's good. Get some more stats, including a magic point. Because all knights need magic points. Oh, for a second there, I was afraid he was attacking Arthur, but no, he's just healing himself, so that's not a problem. One of the interesting things about Arthur, though, is his ability to eventually use magic. That's one of the things that sets him apart from the other knights. Solid hit from Xylo. Arthur eventually learns attack spells. Not very good attack spells, he just gets the level 1 spells for Blaze, Bolt, and Freeze. Part of me wants to move in, but part of me is like, that would be a terrible idea. So yeah, Arthur gets some magic. Not very much, but it's there. I mean, Bolt can be useful. It's not very strong, but it can be useful because even Bolt level 1 has an area of effect for its damage. So if you need to hit multiple enemies, it can be useful for that. More speed for Hans, because that's all he's good for. But yeah, aside from that, his magic isn't especially useful. It can be helpful, especially if he's behind in levels. He won't have very much attack power, so his spells might actually do more damage than his basic attacks. Furthermore, it can also be nice to have as an alternative. Say an enemy only has like 3 or 4 hit points left. You can hit them with Blaze or Freeze to get that guaranteed kill. Whereas, if you were to try doing a basic attack, I'm just trying to talk while thinking about what to do with Diane there. So basically, if you're in a position where you can get a guaranteed kill, whether you use magic or a physical attack, you can take the magic route, and by doing so, you can guarantee your hit, whereas using a basic attack, you would run the risk of missing. So that's one of the benefits of using Arthur over the other knights. That was basically a useless level up for Lo. But he'll probably get some attacks in later on at some point, so that attack point will come in handy eventually. The most important thing, though, is our characters are getting closer to level 10. And once they hit level 10, we can start promoting them. It's generally better to promote later, but I feel like the benefits of that are something you'll only really gain. Oh, look at that. He can just move so well regardless of the terrain. Your characters will overall be stronger by the end if you promote at level 20 instead of level 10, or even just like level 14 or 15 or something. But I feel like you'll only really see the benefits of that if you spend excess time grinding to really accumulate more stats. Otherwise, you'll promote later, but then you'll also be at a lower maximum level by the end of the game. And those levels will be weaker because a greater percentage of the level ups you gained will be prior to promotion. So I just promote at level 10. That was a great level up. So I just promote at 10, leave it at that, and then just move on. How well can Luke take hits from these guys? decently well, but I don't want to put him between both of them. Yeah, I have the land effect as well, but they can get crits or double attacks, and with how this playthrough has been going so far in regards to that kind of stuff, I'm not too fond of the idea of leaving myself open to that kind of danger anymore. Can Balbaroi even hurt the skeleton? Not really. He'll only do like 1 or 2 damage, so I'm gonna actually, go for the priest instead. Because I don't think he would have been able to do a full 3 damage, given the forest boost. Plus, the skeleton's just healing himself with an herb anyway, so he's not even a threat at the moment, and I should be able to take him out before he has the opportunity to do anything else. That skeleton's gonna proceed to do nothing. Let's circle Ammon around and attack him. Or her. You can't really tell the gender of a skeleton by looking at it. So, I mean, whatever it is what it is. This kind of gets Xylo in a position where he's ready to charge in when I need him to. Let's heal up Arthur. He's only missing 1 hit point, but he's just so vulnerable that I don't even want him missing that 1 hit point, especially following the last battle where he literally died exactly from an enemy attack. So every hit point can count when you're that squishy. And Arthur is as squishy as a frontline fighter comes.
I shall call him Squishy, and he shall be mine, and he shall be my Squishy.
I'm not concerned of putting Max here because this skeleton hasn't healed himself yet, and he's dead anyway. But I was just thinking, you know, even if I put Max here, that skeleton and the other skeleton attacks him, that one would probably just heal himself anyway, so I didn't really think of him as a threat. Good miss, Balbaroi. I've been missing a lot these last couple battles, and it's not even against flying enemies that should typically have excessively high evasion. But sometimes that's just the way it goes. And now we've got to trek northward through the forests and hills and take care of this lineup of Pegasus Knights. And then from there, we've just got the last stretch. Gonna try and get some heals off though while I can. Just gonna take it slow, keep everybody together, get everybody healed up, mostly for the experience points, before engaging this next group of enemies. Especially because as I'm attacking these guys, if things get crazy and I have to start moving my units a lot, Lo and Gong won't really be able to keep up with everybody in this forest. So I want to make sure everybody's healed up and ready to go before the battle begins, and I have to wind up worrying about that problem. The Pegasus Knights are retreating. They must just see how fearsome we are and how completely outnumbered they are, so they decide that it's a good idea to split up. Oh dear. I hope I don't regret this. Statistically speaking, I shouldn't have to worry about regretting that, but it would be a lot more dangerous if those guys hadn't run off. I'm actually gonna send Balbaroi up here to try and intercept this guy and keep him away from Max, just in case he gets the idea of following through with his buddy. Send Xylo up there with his incredible mobility to back Balbaroi up. Of course, Balbaroi's the target he goes for. Which is interesting. You'd think he'd find some sort of kinship or blah with a Birdman, because, I mean, he has wings, he's a Pegasus Knight, they're both flying dudes, they both call the sky their domain. But at the same time, maybe he sees that as a challenge, like a threat. Like, this guy's trying to steal the sky from me. I have to show him that I am the champion of the sky. Or whatever. Of course, the time I miss is when I'm attacking with my archer. The people who are supposed to be good against fly units. And she's the one that misses. She's really contributing, showing what she has to show for us. Here's a situation where I'll use level 2, so we do get to see it. Because I don't want that guy attacking Max again and potentially getting maybe a harder hit somehow, or getting a crit or double attack, and killing Max instead of leaving him with just 1 hit point. Let's see if Xylo can finish off this guy. Perfect! That's 1 threat down, and Xylo gained a level. So now he's ready for promotion, because he pretty much starts right there. I don't think I've ever cleared this battle without Xylo hitting level 10 during it. Because it's just set up so perfectly for him to do so. He's strong, he can get in heavy hits, he can get lots of kills. He's unaffected by the terrain, he starts at level 9. So he's just so perfectly set up to be promoted in this fight. Or after it, rather. Now I just have this one more knight to deal with. Swapping my characters around, though, promotions are going to be happening a bit later than usual. In fact, they're happening a bit later than usual anyway. Usually, my characters are hitting level 10 during this fight. At least a couple of them do. But I've swapped things around, and also usually when I'm playing this game, I'm paying a little bit closer attention to my experience points. Whenever I go to kill an enemy, I usually pay closer attention to be like, do I want to get this kill with somebody? Like, if somebody only needs like 10 experience points to level up, I'll oftentimes pass on killing an enemy and instead have them either wait so somebody else can get more experience points out of the kill, or I will attack a different enemy who may still provide the experience points that the character needs to level up without overdoing it. So, just in general, I feel like my levels are already a little bit lower than usual, despite the fact that I've had some failures that have caused me to have more enemy kills because I've had to redo some battles and get more experience points that way, which is weird. Also, sometimes I decide which healers I want to use right from the start. Or at least by the time I recruit Chris, I might have an idea of which healers I want to use and which one I might just decide to neglect and not really try to use very much, so I won't really feed certain healers kills, whereas this time I've been feeding them all kills, just to kind of let things play out how they play out. I don't know, I just feel like overall my levels are a little bit lower. I'm not gonna do anything more with Xylo though, because he's level 10, so I don't want him stealing any more experience points. I'm still gonna be moving him in, but mostly just to take hits if the enemies decide to go for him. But other than that, at this point, he's just here to be here pretty much and hopefully not die so I don't have to waste money reviving him. I'm gonna split up a little bit here because of the terrain. Get Xylo a little bit closer, hopefully draw these guys in. I don't think I can. I don't remember how these guys behave to getting closer to them. Just keep moving Gong and Lo straight up. Henri and Arthur are gonna start heading to the next part of the fight since they can't move all that well anyway. And I feel like they'll be a bit more useful over there. Alright, let's get the first attack off with Hans. And miss. Excellent initiation of combat. Let's get Xylo in there just to take hits. Distract the enemies from my archers. Let's swap Ammon over to here. Get a decent hit off. Another opportunity for Hans to make up for that last shortcoming and miss again. It looks like he's just hitting the Pegasus Knight in the chest. And the armor is so thick that he's just taking it and the arrows are snapping as they hit his body. My other characters are going to take the initiative to start heading up towards the northeast to be ready to take care of the next group of enemies. Let's let her be shielded by Gort and Xylo and then start working on the weaker of the two knights. Keep cutting through the forest. Let's not put Balvaroy between both of them, because I'd rather them not gang up on him. If they gang up on Xylo, he can take it. And if I lose Xylo, it's less of a loss because he's not really doing anything anyway, other than just being a distraction. That's unfortunate. Going for Gort is fine. I would rather him go for Xylo, but I guess Gort is the more logical target in that situation, as if this game suddenly has standards with its tactics. Try to finish this guy off, Diane. Try to finish him off better than Diane did, Hans. Well, at least he hit. Gort can't reach the weakened one, so he's just gonna have to keep pounding on this guy.
Oh my.
Level up! Got some more defense. That should hopefully help keep him alive a little bit longer should the attack continue putting pressure on him. That's one down. Xylo continues to do nothing, just there to take damage. And this time he's going for Xylo. I just don't think this guy can make up his mind who he wants to try and kill first. The dwarf or the wolf. Both are equally terrifying to have to fight, so I guess it makes sense that he'd be a little indecisive. Probably just panicking right now that he's about to die, and then died. So now he doesn't have to worry about panicking anymore, because he's dead. That level up sucked. And that's my biggest concern, not that I don't have to worry about dying, I just have to worry about my level up sucking. Get Max in there, the lizard man just went, so I should be able to take him out before he's a problem. Oh no, this healer actually heals! Gosh darn it. Alright, Arthur, show off the strength of that power boost I just gave you and take this lizard man out. Bam! 23, the healing didn't matter at all. Nor did anything else I did to that guy, he was just screwed regardless. You know your party is screwed when your last remaining guy is a healer. That's when you know there's no hope left of victory. Dang it, I was actually hoping he would heal himself. He missed though, so he didn't do anything threatening. Finish him off, Arthur! Bam! Head for the bridge, we need to get across quickly! Hold up, I need to change my party. Our very first promotion, Xylo has gone from werewolf to wolf baron. Alas, we won't be using him in the next battle, so we're gonna have to wait a while before we get to take a look at that. Boy, it's gonna be weird not using Xylo. New in town, eh? Go out back and I'll show you my latest invention. Well, he sure is friendly all of a sudden. Watch carefully. Here I go! Good luck, Kokichi! Whee! 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 Dead! Well, it didn't work this time either. So there's a little cutscene that I did not know about until years later, but I'll try to remember to get into that when we reach the payoff for it. When fighting in woods, plan well before moving. Keep your troops together. air warriors and long-range weapons are very useful in certain situations. I feel like that advice was supposed to be for the previous battle, whereas the advice he gave me for the previous battle, which I think I forgot to record, was him just telling me to heal when necessary, like that's advice. And now he's telling me about how to fight in forests, even though I'm not going to be fighting in a forest, I'm fighting on a land bridge. Traitor, you've betrayed Lord Kane! I owe no allegiance to you or him, foul fiend that he is. You are only a mercenary. You do what we pay you to do. Here, I return your gold. I shall no longer follow your orders, Toad. If you are not with us, then you are against us. I will have the pleasure of killing you myself. Vile fiend!
Haha!
Thus fall all who dare to oppose the will of Dark Soul. Now we have to fight the Laser Eye, which is a boss, I guess? I've never really been sure whether to consider this thing a boss because it is a unique enemy that has special attributes, but at the same time, it just doesn't feel very boss-like of its own accord. It's just a thing that you have to destroy in this one battle. So how this fight works is the Laser Eye, every time it gets a turn, it will go down a countdown timer. And once that timer hits 0 and then another turn passes, it'll fire a laser beam that will sweep across the entire battlefield, hitting everything for a decent amount of damage, both enemies and allies alike. So, we need to be worried about that, although it's more of a threat when you don't know what's gonna happen, because then you just blindly rush onto the bridge and expose yourself to danger, which can be easily avoided if you know what to do. But it's still one of the more interesting battles in the series. So for this fight, I set myself up with characters that have good range and good, flatland mobility. I put my centaurs back on. I removed one of my warriors as well as Xylo. Although really Xylo is useful in any battle because he's just amazing in every way, but I don't want to just use the same people over and over again throughout the whole game like I normally do. I want to mix it up a bit and try different party setups that are catered towards certain fights. So in Xylo's case, I'll probably only really use him in fights where there's a lot of rough terrain or against like bosses so I can have his power to help me out. So we won't be seeing a whole lot of Xylo, but he will be helpful in the situations where he does show up. Whereas other characters I might use more frequently because I don't know. I'll figure it out as I go, but I just don't want the playthrough to just be a standard use the best guys and power through the game like it's nothing sort of deal that it would usually be. So I kind of want to format my guys a bit based on their mobility. So when I start rushing across the bridge, I'll be able to do so quickly. And because of how narrow it is, that's why I also brought my archers. I brought Tao. I decided to bring Tao instead of Henri because even though Henri needs the experience points more, Tao has Blaze level 2. Henri doesn't have any spells that can hit multiple targets at the moment, and I wanted the magic to help clear out some of the congestion that I may have to be dealing with as this goes on. I think I can get a little bit closer. I'm actually gonna put Ken right here because I can never remember exactly where the cutoff point is. But when the Laser Eye's turn comes up, if one of my characters is within range, the targeter should go on him instead. So I should be able to get an idea if I can get just a teensy bit closer. Baiting in this knight, how far can he reach anybody? He can reach Tao, which isn't good. Right now, I just want to figure out where this Laser Eye will hit. Okay, no, he didn't target Ken. I guess it has to be max to guarantee that. Uh-oh. Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. I was hoping I could get Balbaroy and Ammon in the way before Tao was threatened by the knight. But now I can just take this guy out real quick, and then that'll be one less problem I'll have to deal with when I'm on the bridge. trying to race across. There are safe spots on the bridge, so it's really not that problematic of a fight. It's just a cool mechanic that is challenging the first couple times you do it until you really have had the chance to figure out how to do it efficiently and correctly. But once you've got it figured out, there's not really a whole lot to it. I went for that because Blaze wouldn't have been enough to kill him, and I wanted to set up being able to hit him with my other characters, so I took a chance with that. Also, because I wanted some other characters to try and get the kill anyway, because they need the experience points more than she does. Although now I'm basically trying to give it to somebody who also equally doesn't need the experience points, because I need to get that guy out of there before he has the chance of getting another attack off on Tau. If I put Max there, then I should be able to get a better idea of what I'm dealing with. And I still have a couple turns before I have to worry about the cannon firing. Alright, where Gord and May are the cutoff point, so I need to get Ken and Max both back. I want my formation sort of arranged, though, in a way that the characters who can't move as far are further up front, so I'm gonna move May back a couple spots and get Hans closer to the front lines, because as we've said in the past, that's where archers belong. Fortunately, even if Ken and Max get blasted, they won't be killed by it. They're not within kill range, because the laser only does about 12 or 13 damage, and I'm pretty sure it cannot score critical hits. To my recollection, I've never seen the laser eyes deliver a critical hit, and it hits lots of things, so unless the odds of it happening are just so astronomically low, it's not something that can occur. There we go. Now the enemies on the bridge are weakened, and the charge-up timer for the laser eye has reset. So now we can start getting in there with our units and try and cross the bridge, or at least get to safety before it fires again. And that's why I wanted to bring my knights into the battle, as well as other characters who have at least decent mobility. I didn't have all characters with movement of 6 or more. So I do have some characters with the general minimum movement of 5. Movement stats in this game are generally 5 to 7, with a few enemies here and there that have 0 movement, and a couple allies you get throughout the game that only have 4. So I do have some with only 5, but one of those is Tau, and I wanted her magic to deal with some of this congestion. And then Hans and Diane I kept, again, because of the congestion, so I have more ranged fighters to be able to situate my characters as needed. Then, of course, there's Gong and Lo. They also only have 5 movement, but they're gonna be like the only constant in my party. Those 2 characters are the 2 that are just gonna be with me in pretty much every battle from start to finish, unless at some point I decide to have only 1 or 0 healers for any particular battle, just because they're the healers, and there's not really any advantage to swapping healers. I can swap characters in and out to utilize their various strengths and abilities based on what each battle presents me, but with healers, they're all kind of the same as far as stats go, especially with like mobility, which will be a heavy factor in determining how I arrange my parties. It's just a matter of what spells they have. So healers are kind of a thing that won't really be changing much at all, as opposed to other character classes. So Gong and Lo are just going to be the constant, along with Max, just because I have to use him every fight. Those 2 are always going to be around. Which is kind of a shame. It kind of messes with this whole idea a little bit, but if I weren't to do that, then it would basically come down to swapping between these 2 and Chris every now and then. And that wouldn't really have any impact on my tactics at all during the fights. All it would really do is result in my healers being lower levels, and they struggle with levels enough as is, so I don't need that to be a thing. This is a battle that I was always kind of afraid of as a kid. Like, not like afraid, but it was just one of those battles that really stood out as being challenging. Especially because I didn't realize when I was younger that there are points on the bridge you can duck out of the laser's range. So it was just always a standout battle, one of the harder ones in the game, because I could never clear without losing anybody. At some point, especially since this is the point in the game where you start getting promoted, and when you first promote, all your stats drop. So you get into this battle, you're freshly promoted, and suddenly, because you just promoted and all your characters are back at level 1, although stronger than a standard level 1, but still level 1, suddenly the damage that the laser eye can deal is a problem. Because it can take out a lot of your guys in one hit, or at least drop their hit points really low. Actually, with Tau, let me think for a second. Considering Tau's experience points and her magic points and the situation here with those archers, I'd like to blast those archers with Blaze level 2 at some point. As far as her experience points goes, she's about to level up. She doesn't need this kill. Somebody else could benefit from this kill more, so I'm actually going to cast Sleep. And then on her next turn, dang it. And then on her next turn, I'm going to blast those archers with Blaze, because at this point, she's kind of sacrificial, because once she gains that level up, then I won't really be doing anything else with her during this fight anyway. So that's why I used Sleep that time. I wanted to make this guy defenseless without killing him, and also make it so my other characters can more efficiently take him down. Hopefully, though, I don't regret that, and okay, good. He just was defeated without any problems. 2 times casting Sleep, and both times it's failed. Gonna circle Balboroy down here a bit, because once Tau blasts those archers with Blaze, I'm gonna want to go for them with my flying units. Ken doesn't need this, but Lo has plenty of magic points to cast more healing spells and get more experience points for it. Get Gord up there! Deal some damage. He should be able to fight these guys off well enough and clear the way to get across this bridge. And I could duck my guys to the side and wait for the laser to fire to be safe, but I don't want to take the time to do that. Perfect. They did nothing. Let's get Arthur in there to score a hit. He just gained some defense with that last level up, so he should be good, but he killed the guy anyway, so it's fine. Does Gong have anybody he can heal? I don't think so. No, so no experience points for him. Let's just get him as far along as he can. Waiting for Tau to be able to blast those archers. Dang it.
For you!
Let's go for this one. This is risky, but I just hope that Tau can still do what I need her to. I'm gonna move Mei up. Come on, yes! She got her turn before they could do anything and go after Amit. So she's gonna do this. She should level up from this. Dang it! I did not want that to happen. I did not want her to get a kill because she would have leveled up regardless, and I wanted other characters to get those experience points. And that's actually why I didn't attack with Mei, and sure enough, it was the guy that I would have attacked with Mei had I decided to do so. Critical hit of 1! And that's a brand new enemy, too. This is the first time fighting these guys, and already he's a total wimp. At least to Mei. Mei's defenses are starting to get up there. She's starting to get some more level up, start serving her role in the party, which is as a tank, at least for physical attacks. She doesn't get very many hit points, so she's not much of a magic tank. I'm gonna go for this guy, because he's more likely to attack one of my birdmen, whereas that one who's standing right there might just go straight for Tau, which I'm okay with. Ken, I'm just gonna duck to the side, make him another target for that archer. That's exactly what I expected, but that's fine. I don't want her to die because that will be money I'll have to spend to bring her back, but if she did, it wouldn't be a huge problem because she doesn't need experience points anymore. And I don't want her to gain any more experience points at this point because that would just be, it would just go to waste pretty much because she's gonna get promoted, and once you promote, your experience points set to 0 automatically, in addition to your level going down back to 1. Although as far as experience points from enemies, your level is treated more as level 11. So it's not like once we drop back to level 1, we'll suddenly be getting a ton of experience points again. Heal up Tao again because she's still within kill range for that archer should he get another attack. Of course it's targeting max, not that it makes a difference. Have a couple more turns to get across and take this thing out. Let's just get Tao out of the way. She's not going to be doing anything else this fight. Archer's down. Level up for Ammon. Alright, Gort, get in there and start pounding on this thing. Let's see if we can take it out before it fires. Which might be possible. Yeah, May's missing 1 hit point, but she has so little. And if that laser does fire off, Plus, I need to rush, so she needs to get up there and potentially put herself in danger. So even though she has all those defense points, I still want to keep her as protected as possible. And we find another bikini. And since I already have the one for Tao, that one should be the one for Henri. Again, they don't do anything. They're not like the power undies from Shining Force 3. It's just a thing you can find, and there's other items like that throughout the game as well. They're just these super hidden items that do nothing, and I don't know why they exist. Maybe they were meant to do something at some point, or maybe they're just supposed to be silly secret items just for a laugh. Nice time for a double attack, Arthur. Alright, next turn that thing will fire, so we gotta take it out before then. I don't think that should be a problem. Because I've got surrounded by plenty of units. Yeah, it's going down unless I suddenly start missing all over the place. How do you miss something like that? I'm pretty sure I've seen it happen before and it's just weird. It's a giant stationary cannon. I mean, I could sort of understand if you're using a projectile or something, but I would figure these characters have true enough aim that that shouldn't be a problem. But if you're like hitting it with an axe, how are you gonna miss a stationary target?
Oops.
It doesn't make any sense, but I'm pretty sure it can happen, just like any other enemy. I actually hoped he would do more than that. I need to get Arthur out of the way of the laser's beam because it'll kill him for sure if it does go off again. Come on, Diane! Really need your turn to come up. There we go. And that's that! I always found the laser eyes spinning animation to just be weird. It's real jittery because unlike other enemies, it only has 2 facings instead of 4. So instead of spinning around like everybody else, it just kind of jitters back and forth. So the main threat is down. We took care of the laser eye. It didn't hit any of our guys. And now we're just going to take a moment to heal up, get everybody ready, make sure nobody dies while also getting some more experience points again with our healers. And then we'll move on to the final confrontation with the enemies that retreated down there. All right, let's get in there. Let's just do this. Ah, she almost came through and just wiped out that mage right away. That guy didn't move. Let's get Gort in there for up-close combat. See if Diane can finish this guy off. Level up for her. That's a really good level up. You may have beaten us here, but General Elliot will stop you and
Pow! Right in the kisser.
Another battle cleared. Huh, I thought I was a gunner, but I caught a branch and just hung on. But how does a centaur climb a sheer cliff? That's always just felt really weird to me. I don't imagine hooves to be very good at climbing. Not to mention the proportions of his body and how he would have to like bend himself to really be able to do so. Plus, I imagine a centaur to be pretty heavy. So that whole him climbing up like that just has always seemed really improbable, but also a great show of his strength. Also, that must have been one hell of a branch to catch him. A great battle! I don't know who you are, but I want to tag along. Pell joined the Shining Force! Or however his name is pronounced. A good job getting to that laser eye. Hurry on to Pow, evil is afoot. With the laser eye gone, the Shining Force heads toward the moving town of Pow. Knowing that Runefaust is gathering its forces, our heroes hurried onward. Another battle down! Another chapter down! With that, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the episode. And thanks for watching! Save. Chapter 4, The Great Fortress of Balbazak. Starting with this lady, we're going to Uranbatol. Uranbatol. So in case it isn't already obvious enough, I read that sentence completely wrong. Oh well. So you gonna let me talk to you, guy? Even if you defeat Elliot, there's still Balbazak to get past. Hang on, I'm just gonna go do that real quick. So I don't have to worry about missing that opportunity. Who needs healing? Ah, that whole thing was just a complete mess. Screen consuming ass shot gives him a special advantage, which is nice. Priest, hamster. And Joker just joined the Shining Force.